Hey everybody, welcome back. I just want to preface by saying that we're having construction done in the basement of our house. So if it sounds like there is a giant fee-fo-fumming around here, that's what it is. And I'm so sorry, and I'll try and edit as much out as I can. But anyway, that's the preface. Okay, let's get started. I'm hopping right in. This is my Hobonichi Weeks, and yesterday my Kinbor Weeks arrived in the mail. I haven't officially gone out and said it, but I'm not ordering from Hobonichi this year. There are a couple reasons why. I just was kind of not liking any of the new, or I guess lack thereof, new things that they were not including. Like, I just felt like there weren't enough adjustments being made for me to continue. And there's a lot of different factors. There is the fact that they changed the paper. There is the fact that I've never really enjoyed having the quotes at the bottom of the page. It takes up a lot of real estate for me personally. But anyway, and then the final thing is just comes down to expense. So I thought we would just kind of compare the two and give my honest, genuine thoughts. I'm going to take this out of the cover just to give a more fair comparison, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so here she is naked, and same with the Kinbor. Okay. I don't know if you could hear that. Okay, anyway, this is what came in the Kinbor. They give you a little... I'm so sorry, guys. They give you this little pamphlet, and it's got just some information on it, most of which I can't read, so I'm just going to put that aside. Another freebie that came with it was this cute little page marker. I've been noticing that the Kinbor has been coming out with cuter colors. I know that was something that for a lot of people, that was the reason why they didn't really go for it, is because the colors were not great. But anyway, here we are. If I line them up, you can see that the Kinbor is just slightly taller, but they both feature a curved edge. And in terms of construction, the Hobonichi Weeks does feel better quality. I'm not doubting that in any way. I'm just saying that for the price point in Canadian dollars, this is $46.50, and this one was about $15 or $16. So it's about a third of the price, okay? These are the bookmarks that come with the Kinbor. They actually coordinate the colors to the color of the cover, and they are slightly thicker than the Hobonichi, and they feel slightly better quality to me. Moving on to the inners, this is what it looks like. So you have a cute little design here. This is the classic Hobonichi, and then this is the entrance page, and then the year at a glance. So in Hobonichi, you have your current year on the left, and then the past and the future, and then the Kinbor, it's just reversed. So you have the current year on the right, and then past and future here. I don't usually use this page, so I'm not too fussed about it, but here's something that you guys might find really interesting. When you do flip the page, this was just my subscriber count at one point. You can see that in the Kinbor, they give you much more space, so they divide the year onto how many pages? 2, 4, whoa, okay, I'm actually tripping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they do 4 months per 2 pages, whereas here they do 12 months for 2 pages. And I actually quite prefer this, just because in the Hobonichi Cousin, that's something that I liked, was they gave you a lot of space here, just in case you wanted to track something larger. So I do prefer the Kinbor in this regard. I'm just going to pick a month that I haven't used yet. So this is October. And if we're looking at the month here in the Kinbor, it's very similar. The only difference is that the Kinbor gives you one more length in terms of squares here. So there's one extra square. I believe here's 2, 4, 6, 7, and here's 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's just a little longer, which does take away the space at the bottom here, but I did always find it kind of an awkward amount of space that they gave you, and I didn't really use it anyway. You can see that the lines are darker in the Hobonichi, and additionally, if you are Team Cream, the Hobonichi is slightly creamier pages. They still do Saturday in gray, Sunday in red, and everything on the month is pretty similar. The Kinbor gives you the past and future months. One quick thing that I forgot to mention is that Hobonichi does give you December of the previous year before January, whereas Kinbor jumps right into January, so keep that in mind. Okay, and here I'm just flipping to, again, just an empty week. And in the Kinbor, it's like as soon as I start talking, in the Kinbor, they've taken away the quote or I guess they never had one. I'm saying they took it away, but they never had one, I don't think. There's no quote at the bottom. And this for me is a big plus because I would much prefer just having more space. I've always found the quote to be kind of a disruptance to when I'm writing. You know, I've tried covering it in washi, but it just for me is a little bit awkward. If you compare the actual like dates themselves, you do see that in the Hobonichi. I mean, this is the English version, but you do see the day of the week in a larger sense, whereas on this it's much smaller. For me, I don't really care. I can just rewrite them. Like, that is not a big deal. And then on the right side, they give you one extra grid before this kind of divider line. So you get one more grid here than you do here. Again, I don't use this for anything like specific. So to me, that's kind of a non-issue. And then we're just going to skip to the graph pages at the end. Both of them are numbered. Okay, if you can see there. In the Hobonichi, they did keep this divider line, and in the Kinbor, they did not. That's, I don't have to keep saying, but that's not something I use, so I don't really mind. I guess my biggest thing is that, you know, I was a little worried if I bought a Hobonichi, I wouldn't end up using it. And I just feel like the pressure's been taken off with the Kinbor because it is so less expensive. I'm not going to say it's inexpensive because everybody has different budgets and so on. But I'm just saying, like, if you're hesitant about buying a Hobonichi Weeks because maybe you haven't used it before, I do feel like the Kinbor is a great alternative. We're going to get into swatches. I'm going to shut up and hopefully the construction will too. And I'll just hop back on to compare. Okay, everybody, I am back and the swatches are done. In terms of sensation, the old Hobonichi paper and the Kinbor paper are very similar. I slightly prefer the Kinbor paper. I don't know why. I think it's because it has the teeniest amount of more grip, and I usually use a uni jet stream, so I enjoy that. My least favorite is obviously the new Tomoe River paper. I did another video, but you can hear it's squeaky and I'm just not a fan. We are going to look at the bleed through now. And they're obviously, the reason why I included the A6 Techo was because the Hobonichi Weeks next year is going to be in the new paper. Okay? How am I going to do this? I guess we'll start with the 2 weeks equivalents. So here you can see they are pretty similar. I would say the Hobonichi is doing a better job in terms of bleed through. You can see the Energel is just peeking through a little bit here, maybe a tiny bit here, but more so here. But it is holding up the same with the fountain pen, with the Muji, with the Uni Jetstream, with the Copic, and with the top 2. Again, I would say the Z marker, the dot marker, is a little more, like you can see it a little bit better. But in terms of the ghosting, like, it's pretty much the same. You might see it a little bit more here because this is a whiter paper, but they're the same. Okay, now that we know that this is better, I'm going to compare once again these two, and you can see that these are even more similar. So I would say that the bleed through with the Energel is actually worse in the Hobonichi on the new paper than it is in the Kinbor, and then everything else is pretty much the same. Yeah, the dot marker is also pretty much the same. So in terms of ghosting, The Kinbor paper is holding up the same as the Hobonichi new paper. So if you haven't had a problem with the Hobonichi's new paper, you shouldn't have a problem here. But the paper writes the same as the old paper. So pretty much you're getting this paper sensation, but a little bit better, with this paper bleed through, which is a little bit worse. So if we're comparing to the old paper, slightly better sensation, slightly worse ghosting, but better, and better. I don't know if that was completely convoluted and really confusing, but I just thought I would point that out. Okay, so now that we have that figured out, the other thing that I want to talk about is the clear cover that you can buy separately, which I'm going to not spend too much time on it because you can see, I believe this is like a vinyl and this is a PVC, and it shows. The Hobonichi Weeks cover is hands down much better, just in terms of construction, in quality. Like, this does not feel very good, and mine actually came split from the company. So I did message them because there's a gap here. So I would just forego the cover. It's not a need. But I just wanted to mention that as well because, you know, if you guys are looking for covers, it's not a great one. But anyway, that was my comparison of the Hobonichi Weeks to the Kinbor 2025. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. And I hope to see you next time. All right, bye-bye.